Hey folks, it's Sven and today it's proper course to Made for Wesley. And the first thing that I want to teach is of course the introduction of Made for Wesley, which is a bit tricky and some people struggle with it. So it starts with an E minor at 9 chords, like this one. So I'm playing it with my first finger on the 2nd fret and the pinky on the 4th fret on the D string. The next chord will be more or less the same. If you do it with the ring finger, it's also okay. And then you just move the index to the 3rd fret in order to perform C major 7, sharp 11, something like that. It can also be like E minor, B6. You know, the name is not so important. It's something like, you know, you're in E minor and then you play the B6, the C. It's a nice chord actually. The next one would be A minor 6, and this will be the voicing. So the middle finger is playing the A, the pinky is playing the 5th, and the index is playing F sharp, the 6th. And the G, the 7, is played with an open string. And the last chord is like B minor, and it's also with a G, which makes it kind of a, you know, it's kind of a G chord actually, with B in the bass. G major 7 with B in the bass, more like that. And then you play like B7. When you play the picking, one thing that's important is that you play all the notes with downstrokes. The rhythm guitar is still, you know, is already coming in, so you can go like. And then the rhythm guitar can play B minor 7 and B dominant 7, you know. So this is the introduction. When the song starts, actually, the first choice to play on the E minor would be an E minor 9, typical gypsy jazz voicing. It's also typical jazz voicing, typical neo-soul voicing. It's just a pretty normal chord. The E minor 9 can be played with those 4 fingers, like middle finger on the E, index is playing G, and ring finger and pinky in the 7th fret doing the 7, the D, and the F sharp. What you can also do is like, you can place the middle finger between the strings, playing the E string and the A string at the same time, while you play with the ring finger G, B, and E string at the same time. So it's a 6-string voicing, but there's no need for that because it's really hard to get. And when playing the bossa rhythm, it's good to do it like this. So the next chord will be C major 7, pretty normal jazz chord, no gypsy jazz chord here, we'll be playing this one. The funny thing is that in gypsy swing, when we say modern chords, what we mean are the contemporary jazz chords that are played, you know, all the way through all the standards. So the chords that you learn when you learn jazz guitar, like a major 7 chord, or let's say a chord with a, you know, with a raised 9. It sounds modern in gypsy jazz, but it's not modern at all. It's just like, you know, usually in gypsy jazz, when we say modern, we're talking about the music of the 60s. So you got the E minor 9 here, C major 7, then playing a normal 2-5, A minor 7, D7 9. You can also play the D7 9 like this, or play D7, doesn't matter, to G major 7, moving to G sharp diminished with the bar chord here, don't miss the D. You can also play just the 3 strings, it's fine as well. Leaving out the A string, it's G sharp, muted A string, F and B. And you can, with the index, also play the D, that's fine. So you go back to A minor. In that case, I'm playing A minor 6. Also with only the 3 fingers, it's okay. But you can also play all 6 strings. After that, I play B dominant 7. You can play B dominant 7 like this. A lot of players would play with the thumb at the bass. Some would play the pinky on the 5th. Some would play the bar chord. Especially in the bossa context, the bar chord appears more often than in the swing context. This has to do with the rhythm, I think, that you're playing. It somehow benefits more the bar chord. And then we're back to, you know, like E minor. So I play till that point, like. have like, this is a C sharp dim, but it's a substitute actually for F sharp dominant 7. But the chord that Nomi Rosenberg is playing there is a C sharp dim chord. And then afterwards again, B dominant 7 to E minor. But that's actually the whole form. So you got like, let me also say something about the rhythm playing. There's a lot of different things that you can do actually. One thing that's good if the song is already rolling is really playing like all the 8 notes and just mute the 4 and the 2 and the 4. That would be sound like this. When the song is just about to begin in the theme, or this is also something that you can do throughout the whole song, is playing the 1 longer. And giving a little accent to the 2 end. Sometimes they play the 1 like very soft, so it even sounds as if there is no 1, like that. Soft means short and soft, like. That as well. You can mix all of that, you know, to make it sound more open. I think basically if I do more of the open thing, I play a long 1. I sometimes also play a 4 end, so you can go like. Even if the next chord is coming, you can, you know, play the chord on the 4 end. And if you mix all those, it sounds a bit more open. I would do the open thing first and then the closed thing for you to make it easy to compare it. So the open thing would sound like that. Sorry. Thing is more something for if the song is rolling. Sometimes the double bass player is even doing like a walking bass. This is really common in gypsy jazz. If you're a double bass player or if you have a band and you feel that the double bass player is doing something which is not sounding right, the problem is often that the double bass player is playing the bossa too much like a contemporary jazz or a Brazilian jazz bossa. So he's too much doing off. Too many notes, so you go like. Then you can do something, and if the band is really rolling, sometimes they play. Noni Rosenberg would do that like. Sophisticated pattern with the octave And if your bass player is doing this with the octave, probably that's the reason why it's not rolling so much. And when you're in the middle of the solo, or like the moment where the 60 notes start, you know, sometimes you can go, or when the thirds start, sometimes this is the moment where you can go to walking bass. When you build up the solo, I recommend, like, you know, trying to play one chorus with like motives and notes, and then preparing one chorus where you try to place your 16 lines, because both is important. Also, the 16 lines are very important to create the original sound. So make sure that you get some of those licks and mix it with the more lyrical playing in the first chorus. Then in the third chorus you can end up with some, or in the second half of the second chorus you can end up with some octaves, something like that, or thirds, which is also typical for the style. And so always try to create a solo first, because a lot of people fear that, and always keep in mind that even if jazz is improvisation, every good player has a certain way he plays a song. And it's no matter if it's a gypsy jazz guitar player or some contemporary jazz player like Pat Metheny, it's always like that. So make sure to be prepared. It's only about being prepared. Once you got like a couple of choruses that are going, you can still, you know, just leave it and try to improvise in that kind of manner. But it's good to have a plan where the solo is going. So that was it from my side today. Hope you like it. Subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of lessons, a lot of performances with great players. We got, like, as guests, I got Robin Nolan on my channel, Paulus Schäfer, Vavo Adler, Joscho, Stephan. So make sure to sign in, hit the subscribe button, and write a comment. Cheers.